Were you recording?
I can.
Oh.
I hadn't been.
Oh.
She keeps the recorder,
I do.
but I'm terrible about remembering.
I'll remind you.
I'll
Okay.
catch him, Sean.
Thank you.
He told me earlier he had a meeting in our building, and then later on I was like, I wonder who it's with.
It was.
I'm sure it's his PSST thing.
No, it's nothing to do with that.
Oh.
You know who Dr. Frank is?
Dr.
No.
Frank.
You'll have to do some
The
research on him.
nationally recognized Dr. Frank?
What's that?
Nationally recognized Dr. Frank?
So Bobby Daniel brought him in. He met with the Mesa County Commissioners, the sheriff, and the recorder this morning, and wanted to be here to meet with us. So I was trying to figure out who could be there, and so I asked Gene and asked Teresa, and nobody could be with it. And then this meeting was going on. He could only do it from 1 to 4. I'm just like, blah.
What does he do?
I don't know. I didn't attend the meeting.
Oh, all right.
Something to do with an election integrity, something. So
He was the big guy that was nationally talking about
yeah,
machines and
Oh,
election
the
integrity.
Tina Peters thing?
something
He was
to do with
around
that.
that,
So
yeah.
the Mesa County Commissioner Bobby Daniels reached out to me and wanted to do it here, but otherwise, so I said I canceled that one. I told him it'd be better to wait until sometime in December and figure
Or
out when
maybe
everybody
in
could do something.
2030.
So
Okay.
All right,
And will the 300,000 cover kind of the critical pieces, or are we just putting
that's
that
what I was
as
just
a
gonna ask
placeholder?
David, do you think that that's sufficient for 26?
that was my question. Does that actually fix like some of the drainage issues and the corrals and the roof and the stables falling down? Is that going to be enough to address just to keep it going?
Probably not, but it's a start. I mean, the roof alone is probably 65, 70,000 for the work they need to do, based on the bids that I saw. Because
On the
Emily
roof-
had
roof of-
a file on those.
The event center.
On the entire roof?
No. The banquet room, you know, where we had the hearing.
Yeah.
So that hallway that goes to the restrooms, right in that area above is where the roof meets the larger part of the arena, and that's where they've continued to have leaks, significant leaks, and they're going to have to peel it back to find out where it's coming from because they can't seem to find it.
What if we front-loaded some money
That's what I wanted
and
to
then
know
not
if
just
you
keep it
guys
at 3,000,
want
but front-load
more.
it to get some of those bigger projects done?
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to weed into this because they need so much out there. So,
You could do
500,000 a year for 3 years or whatever, or
Do initial 500 and then step it down. I don't know.
well, the big projects that need to get taken care of, they're foundational, I think need to get taken care of first, right? I mean, that just makes sense. So I would front-load it at 500 and then,
I kind of like that 5 to 3 years, maybe. But does that get away from your 5-year plan?
we'll be going through this whole process again next year and hopefully have a capital plan that we'll know more for 27, 28, or whatever, what we'll need. The main reason we threw the $1.5 million in because we were kind of talking big round numbers the other day, and we kind of need to get something in to kind of help us finalize the determination of how much debt we're going to have to issue. So no matter how it's spread out, doesn't really affect that equation. So,
okay.
So this is part of the debt issuance, is to get some capital.
To see how much more
fund.
yeah,
Yeah.
to fix, I mean, or else we just have a leaking Band-Aid ridden event center
Yeah.
over time. So
So maybe put 500 and then step down.
maybe 500 for 3 years and then step it down.
Yeah.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
All right.
God.
And also, this might be not a good takeaway, but was there any, they had an FTE requested to increase 0.5 for a maintenance tech from a part-time to a full-time, and I know you were all on board with that.
Yeah,
But I know then you kind of had some other discussions about even adding additional FTEs. I just want to make sure I'm on the right page with that. It wasn't in their request per se, but I think it came out of that discussion, and I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, as I recall, stories that I heard is how
Right.
they don't have any time off and they're
Right.
worried about losing people and they seem completely understaffed, and I was a little,
well, Brandon's talked about quitting, and that would be a huge loss if we
Well,
had
I
that
mean,
happen.
I think their schedules are untenable, and then they continue to have more and more activities, and I think it's
Well,
wrong.
I think if we can get Mr. Hawkins and the sheriff under control, with,
Mm-hmm.
that's 29 free events
Mm-hmm.
that need to be throttled back. And
Or done somewhere else.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean, there are other places that could be done.
right.
Yeah, I think that's.
Well, Faith and I are
too
working
much.
on, she's done, we met last Monday, so she's revising policies and procedures. She sent me a draft that I'm going through, and then an internal fee schedule. So setting that in place, interdepartmental, because right now, everybody interdepartmentally seems to think it's just free, that there's no cost. But every time there's an event, like in a room, it has to be cleaned, then set up, then it has to be staffed. When it's over with, it has to be torn down, cleaned up again. And there's a significant cost to that. So, so an internal fee schedule, a fee schedule that exists for nonprofits, and then one for private parties. All of those we're going through and adjusting. So,
And I think to your point too, so like, probably that needs to be spread around, like the other EMs need to host, you know.
Well, it doesn't have to always be here in Montrose.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think-
Exactly, because there's, like you're saying, there's sunk cost to that. It's our labor.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of our costs putting on that event for all the region, basically. And so I think we need to take a hard look at how just, I mean, like you said, 29 events that we've done in 1 year for
Which is
that,
a huge labor.
which is a lot of labor.
yeah.
So if those all went away, then are two maintenance techs too much? So, you know, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, so
Well,
maybe,
unless they backfill it with paying events, you know, which,
Right.
according to Faith, there are so many events they could have hosted, but couldn't because of all the freebie stuff.
right, right.
Yeah.
So have you mentioned that to Scott? Have you met with Scott or the sheriff about this at all?
He and I were supposed to meet. He canceled. So we have not been able to regroup. He's having another event on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as we are all supposed to attend Friday at 2:00. Now he's saying we only need to be there for half an hour. Before it was like critical.
What's that for?
The emergency earthquake
The earthquake.
Oh.
full-scale drill. I think I'm somewhere else.
You gonna take your chances?
Go to California. We're
I'm gonna take my chances on the earthquake.
Okay, so maybe wait on the FT.
So what I was,
Tsunami
if
will
we,
have
if
more.
we approve the one maintenance tech, which will help immensely, get them trained up, and then we could look at a supplemental mid-year, might be a wise
Right.
approach.
yeah, I agree.
But I do think that they need the help, and I think they've been limping along for so long. Keep in mind, they have no director still, so they're kind of doing this on their own.
Yeah.
So I do feel bad we put them in that position.
Yeah, they look kind of beat down.
Well, that's why I've been going over there trying to. All right, we got to.
I actually felt bad when we had that solar meeting over there because Faith was there at 6 o'clock at night and all those chairs, and I was like, ah.
Well, you know, we should institute what they do in Nucla, which is everybody picks up their own chair.
Yeah.
Right.
And stacks it up. But we don't. Here, we just walk out and
Yeah, leave it for
Faith.
them.
And she's awesome, by the way. I mean,
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she is.
I felt bad. Like, man.
of course,
Okay.
by the time that's over with, all I
Well,
want to do
we'll
is
put a
get
pin
out.
in that and maybe see how we come with Scott and events and see
Right.
if we
All
can
right.
revisit that later if you guys want to. You want to talk about the debt maybe a little bit?
Yeah, it's
That
the
might
way
be a
I,
good segue.
the way I see it now. We're gonna have to add another $500,000 to that debt number.
Yes.
Because of what we just did with the event center. We had $1.5 million in, we front loaded the first 3 years. I put $250,000 in the last 2 years of the model, so that's a $500,000 there.
Okay.
So before we were showing issuing $5 million worth of debt. We've added 2.5, now $3 million, in projects to the CIP fund. there was some excess in the general fund, so we were able to transfer another million, so we increased the transfer from 4 to 5 million. That put the debt issuance, changed it from 5 to 6.5, and now that'll move to $7 million for the
On
debt
the
proceeds.
front of your packet, there's a little summary down here at the bottom, just the debt stuff too.
Well, maybe the interest rates will start correcting.
They
did.
already have been.
Yeah, I adjusted them. The last time I had updated this, it was 3 something. Fed has been lowering rates, so the latest one we looked at, the AA muni rate for 10 years was 2.85%. So I changed that.
And what's our one at the event center right now? Is it 2.3?
2.8.
Okay. 2.8 or okay.
Wow.
Well, how are you feeling about that?
I'm fine with it. I mean, we can handle that. That debt service will still be, well, right now it's at about 756,000 a year, over 10 years. It still works within the general fund. If we wanted to lower that, we could spread it out to 15 years and lower that, and lower the debt service payment, but we can manage 10 as of this point in time,
Okay.
so, based on the model.
Okay. Let's not try to reach that one.
What's that?
I said, let's not try to reach that one.
Yeah.
It's actually better than, when we were projecting 9,
Originally.
we were really kind of bumping up to that 10 million. But I think a lot of that had to do with what we were planning for the Weston, we had these huge numbers from Wold
Right.
and all that
Oh, yeah.
stuff. I mean, so
Yeah.
that was affecting, so this is a better place to land.
Yeah.
Really, really.
Yep.
But any.
And as we continue to
anything-
have savings through 26,
And we probably.
we'll transfer some more over, and what that would reduce the overall need
We're
for.
expecting 25 to come in, we will have savings, like we would anticipate that. Um,
Yeah, that's kind of a caveat, so, yeah, if general fund comes in a lot better than what we currently have budgeted, and we have some budget savings there, that should allow us to reduce the debt that we end up issuing next year. So.
Yeah.
The other thing that's not in here is any sale proceeds from the South Campus.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think we've had like a 1.8, I think that's a Renfro.
Do we have an offer?
Said. Well, no, just that.
No, Bert Hyenga is definitely interested. So he said, if you guys want to do something sooner, then wait until you finish the North Campus. He could do a deal and do a lease back or give us some time. So,
Well,
But any
have you,
proceeds.
are you aware of that? Okay. I think we need better updates on that kind of thing. When did you meet with them?
Renfro called me, what was it, about a month ago? And said he was in town with a friend of his who's an investor. And we did that, Terry, I saw Terry and Jen was there when they wanted to walk through the building. So
Yeah.
that's-
Jen told me that you
that-
did a
yeah.
walkthrough. Well, I mean, and we haven't done appraisal on that piece of property recently.
No, that's
So-
what Renfro said, we need to get an appraisal done, but he was estimating on the low side $1.5 million. But he
So
said,
that'll just help with
Offset.
the offset is all.
Yeah,
it
and even
is.
the West End, any of those buildings that potentially sell
true.
could also.
That brings up another, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I guess I would see that as more potentially offsetting our future capital plan once we have a real capital plan as opposed to offsetting the debt.
Okay.
I just meant it's additional resources that we don't have in
Yeah.
there, is all that I meant.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
And that's not been taken into
Right.
account, so it's just a bonus kind of, if you will.
Mhm.
The 50,000, you guys kind of loosely talked about moving those modulars.
Right. And Jesse
Is
got
that
a
gonna
price of
be-
50,000 to
Right,
move
okay.
both of them.
In 26?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And those are potentially going on between the posse and the annex?
Road and
That's-
Bridge, Brandon was taking one of them to Olathe, right?
Right up here to the Neil Pit, and then for emergency management, that space between the annex and the posse. Jen said we could site it there. It'd be water, gas, electric, everything is close by.
So are you okay to use the funds for the West End project money for that, or do you want a separate line item? You know, like, are you
Ooh,
good
good question.
for us to just use some of those funds, or do you want it
Well,
to
I-
have a separate?
I don't think Jesse's numbers included.
That moving those. Okay. So you want us?
Well, yeah, I think it's part of the West End. I mean, it would be part of the West End expense, potentially.
Is it, or would it be?
split between
Would it be Road
PSSD
and Bridge and Scott Hawkins if they're getting them?
Yeah, Road and Bridge, because Brandon said that they would be able to close the Olathe shop.
and then we could sell that property too.
Yes. And the town's wanted that for
Ever,
years.
yep. Well, they don't really, they want it available for retail. There's no other business retail kind of property.
They've never, I've never heard what they wanted it for.
But we'd probably have to do a recovery on any kind of environmental impact. I don't know what that would cost, but that's why the facilities plan is so critical, so. And I don't know that can be done in-house. Is that something we need to hire out?
He
Oh,
needed
yeah.
to contract that. I
Yeah.
think he talked to someone out of Grand Junction to come and do that. So
Right.
it sounds like you want some additional funds
Yeah,
in there for that.
yeah. Because what they have to do when they go into, they have to cut, all the utilities can be cut off fairly easy, but they have to crane those things out.
Right. Makes sense.
There's no other way to get them out of it,
Okay.
so.
Can we put like just a placeholder in here too, Amy?
There's also, just
Yeah.
while we're on the topic,
Well,
there's
not
also
the
some,
26th.
during the tour today, I'm hearing, well, so-and-so's already trying to move into that building and that building. And I mean, are we in control of who's trying to poach buildings before we decide who needs to be in which building? Because I think that's a bigger conversation too, is that, just having people, occupation doesn't mean
Right.
you own it.
Possession.
Yeah.
So Jen put together a preliminary list of space that we'll have. But because of the courthouse project and the North Campus, she said, can we just wait till January? The only space that we've talked about totally dedicated is for finance to go into where we were in the annex.
So maybe we need to send an email out that says, no building movement has been authorized at this point. We're in the middle of doing a plan.
Yeah, anybody planning anything better think twice
Well,
about it.
I'm telling you, as soon as you get a desk in there, they own it. So it'd be nice to have a
I thought the
better.
sheriff was already working on our old space.
I know.
Yeah.
So again,
And well,
I heard that. Well, I heard they were getting it cleaned, and then Andy mentioned to me today that they were using one of those offices for storage right now. And
So again-
but I don't know
I
if they're
haven't been
in
over
or not.
there.
I don't know.
no, so the sheriff sent his team in. Jen and Jesse said, wait a minute.
Okay.
We were going to paint and shampoo the rugs and whatever, carpets. So I called and talked to Gene, and he said, we can wait, because she said it'd be 3 weeks out. This was as of last week. So the first week in December, they can get a crew in there to paint your old offices, clean the carpets, and I guess you left furniture behind?
All of our desks are there. Yeah, we left them all
Because
behind.
Jen was talking about
Well,
taking all of those and moving them to the welding shop, but the sheriff needs furniture. Can't
Yeah.
you just do an internal
That's
transfer?
what. Yeah, I don't even think that was my plan.
Those are on the fixed asset list, but yeah.
Yeah.
That should be.
Yeah, those desks are on my
well,
asset list.
I do feel like we need to have a powwow before we.
With him?
Well, I mean, if everybody's starting to, as soon as somebody moves out, they're like, they're like meerkats.
Yeah.
Ooh,
there.
that'd be good for me.
Right?
So maybe your email will get.
I will send
get
them an
the-
email. I'll just send it to all the directors and electeds and just say, hey, if you have eyes on anything, you're going to have to wait.
Well, it's sort of like the veterans. They want
yeah.
space too. So I think we need to have a discussion about everybody who wants something, and then prioritize. you know, we always get the last pick, and everybody else is already, you know, just has designs on it. So I
Right.
think a bigger conversation would be worth
Yeah,
it.
okay.
So on
Gotcha.
the modulars, just kind of, do you need any money like site prep, or are you just gonna move them and, do you know what I mean?
Well, I,
Like once they land wherever they're gonna land.
and I don't know what those costs
Okay.
look like.
So TBD on that maybe.
Yeah, because Jen's gonna have to come up with some numbers, at least for the Hawkins piece. Brandon can come up with numbers for his, you know.
Okay. All right,
I'll just send them each an email on that
all right.
We looking at moving those this year or next year?
next year.
Okay.
So as of now, we're not putting any dollars in
Well,
this
we'll put the,
additional
we'll
numbers.
put the
50
50,000 in
50.
to move them. But then I was just thinking like utilities, water lines,
Right.
all the things that maybe we would need additional, so, okay. Any other questions on the debt or concerns, thoughts? Okay. So our plan was to kind of, I think Q1, start initiating that.
The discussions with the companies.
You're gonna go banks, right? You're not
So-
going,
So we'll start with the municipal advisor, which will write the RFP, we'll do bond council. I'll get engagement letters for all of them, bring it before the board, just to engage them to work with us for the debt.
right,
Like I'll keep you in, in the loop as we move
Right.
through, but that's the first step.
okay.
And then they'll do the solicitation out for the direct placement. They'll handle with responses, all of that sort of thing, so that it's
Gotcha.
very independent.
All on the up and up.
Yeah.
Yep. So the
Okay.
total number that we are looking at is 8.6?
7.
7.
7.
Do you wanna, which next nice thing do you want?
Rosemary, what are you interested in? All of it? Do you want us to expedite this schedule for your benefit?
I was just coming to see what the decision was made on how we're gonna handle the public safety sales tax and.
Oh, well, then maybe we'll go to that.
So, I'm just pretty good for
We're going to sunset it, didn't you hear?
Is your name D. Laird?
So I guess the first thing is just the resolution.
Yeah, do you have a copy of that resolution, Lenny?
I do.
Have you seen that, Rosemary?
the one, yeah, I saw that.
The new
Oh, a
one.
new one?
This is a
So what we're probably gonna have to do is repeal and replace
Okay.
with that one or something like that.
Looks like there's a lot more words to this one.
Yeah, this one's.
Oh yeah,
pretty
this is the new
lengthy.
one. I don't think I saw this one, did I?
Nope, this
You
is
told me
off
about
the
this, I think, David.
Can you give us input on this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Missing the words.
Because this is, Lanny, this is not the one you sent me a few weeks ago, right? This is a
It's
newer version?
The same one, it's just tweaked a little bit.
Okay.
What did you tweak?
The content's pretty much the
For
same.
one, that identified, we were talking about splitting this PSST into two funds, the 70% and the 30%. And I'd identified a fund number for the 30%, which had already been used. So I'd identified fund number 0245, and I changed that to 0243, so that we have a brand new fund that's never been used before, so. And then just a little bit of wordsmithing to make it read a little better. So, yeah, really
And
nothing
does this
material.
work better for you?
Yeah,
You like this?
Clear,
I'm-
clear.
Yes.
I think we're happy with this.
Do you want us to walk through it at all, Sean? Like,
Maybe just the major changes, so
Yeah.
when I'm asked, I can
Yeah.
address them.
Yeah,
But
I think-
I agree. So we have to do something. So, I mean, there weren't two budgets submitted, so those parts all gotta go away, right? So-
Well, they think they submitted 2 budgets.
and I did bring that with me if anyone wants to, if they want to look at it.
It's okay.
And that wasn't what he told me. He told me they're still working on getting the second budget submitted.
What? It's too late.
So we're gonna be repealing. The two options we had was repeal or repeal and replace. And Lanny likes this one, so.
I really think this is an advantage over what we currently have, even though there's nothing wrong with what we currently have. I think this really helps. It should
Citizen.
eliminate the, if there really is confusion, and there really is, which there probably is to some degree, I don't really believe that was the real issue. But I really think this does kind of help with the clarity and the transparency of the whole thing. And I think the sheriff should be happy, would be happy with this if he would actually read it and comprehend it.
Maybe I'll take
Because
a
it
cold
does
beer up to him
simplify
and reach him under a
everything for
tree.
him. What's that?
He's camped out on Monogram Mesa. Maybe I'll take it up with a 12-pack and see if I
Read
can
it to
explain it to
him.
him.
Yeah,
So maybe go through, Lanny, what it does.
have a
though.
campfire
Yeah.
first.
I think we need to talk about like what it does versus, yeah.
Okay, so the main thing it does is it takes the 70%, it takes the PSST and splits it into two funds, the 70% PSST and the 30% PSST. So all of the 100% of the 70% will go into the 70% PSST, the 30% will go into the PSST, 30% PSST.
So does that make sense? So there's
Oh
a
my
fund
God.
that will just have 70%. So the PSST
So
will
that
come
was the main
in.
question I had last time, is are you sure you want to do this, or do you want to just repeal it?
I
That
actually
was-
think
No,
this helps.
this would replace what
I
you
know what
guys.
it
He
is,
knows that.
but
But
I'm
he's
I
saying-
want to
asking.
just repeal and not
Oh,
submit.
and just
And
leave
not,
it alone?
and not replace. So that's the question I had last time, is are we doing this and it's making it worse,
I
or
Look,
think
we-
some
think
of
it-
what this does, Sean, is it does put some of the
Confusion.
No, it puts some of the administrative how-to stuff in there that is not there now.
For the SO's office.
Well, for the PSST,
for the PSST,
for
a lot
how
of the
you're going to
push that,
administer it. How are you
yeah,
going to?
a lot of the push that we got was for either people didn't understand it or they just misunderstood that it was being used incorrectly. So the reason for the resolution was to try to open that back up to people who didn't have that thought. And obviously it hasn't worked. That's why I'm asking. If it didn't work, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
But if you do, that's fine.
No, I think it does away with the color of money issues. Because right now, 100% of the sales tax is going into the PSST fund. Within that fund is the sheriff, the DA, the coroner, blah, blah, blah.
Basic clinic.
And so it's
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, well,
Which dollar
how
is
much,
paying for what?
yeah. how much-
I get it.
Is the 30%, how much is the sheriff getting any of the 30%? Are we spending the 70% on all these others? The sheriff's not getting any? It does away with those color of money issues because the only department that will be in the 70% PSST fund is the sheriff.
I totally get it. I guess
All the sheriff's bucks
my
will be in there.
the reason that I wrote the resolution, contrary to some people's belief, was, and I told Gene this, you may look at this when this split out and find out you're getting less than you used to. You may find it, right, when you looked at it that way, and I really don't think I'm going to convince him either way. And I don't think
No.
that this is going to convince the
No.
people that were beating it up. So if this is better for you, I'm fine with that, but I'm fine to repeal it if we need to, so whatever.
I think it's
y'all-
better for the public at large, the way it's explained in here.
You think Jim Anderson will agree with that?
I couldn't
No.
care
He won't
less.
do- he won't
But that's
agree with
the
anything.
point, right?
I
So
actually think he will if he reads it.
I don't think you will.
I think he'll think it's better than what we have now.
I don't either.
It doesn't,
But that's the reason we got an
He's
email
going
from
to
the
be
dealer. Right.
enraged when we repeal.
He called me this
going
weekend.
to
After
be
75
enraged.
phone calls, we had a very lengthy, contentious phone conversation, and then D. Laird's email came out. So that's what I'm saying. If we repeal it because it wasn't adhered to, it's not our
The
fault. But if
responsibility
we
is his.
repeal it and replace it, then it's back on us again. So I just want to make sure I'm okay repealing it because it wasn't adhered to. There wasn't two budgets submitted,
I'm not.
and saying
But we've had public questions about PSST forever. Well,
I
we've
think-
had two public, I mean, it hasn't been the public at large. Only until it got real inflammatory this year did it get to be where everybody's like, oh, you're ripping everybody off. So I think explaining it better in black and white is probably a good idea. I don't like the citizen oversight thing. I think that's just going to be a big old,
well, that's part of the. If we're going to replace it, let's replace it with the language that we feel better about.
And that's actually in here that there's a citizen oversight committee.
Well, again,
So
these
it's
were all the
recommended
things
that
that
the
I
sheriff
put in to
establish.
get the people that were complaining to stop complaining.
Yeah.
I figured if they were involved in it, they couldn't complain about it, but it's not. I mean,
Well, yeah, and I'm sorry that I'm glad you're optimistic, but I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna stop complaining. But this might help them understand a little bit better. I don't know. I mean, they don't seem to read anything we put out there in
Or
totality.
believe.
Or believe.
yeah,
I
it's
changed the context of that.
they're already planning on coming to the Central Committee meeting and blowing it up again. And I'm trying to arm myself to
Yeah.
beat that down.
And I want you to feel good about what's in it, Sean.
Oh, I do.
want you to feel
That's
good
what
about.
I'm fine with
That's why I
you
said,
guys.
let's tear it apart, let's go through it, let's do whatever you want, because I want you to feel good about what's in here, the language.
Yeah,
what
and
we're
I
doing,
don't have
what
any,
it does,
yeah, I
what
don't
it
have any
doesn't
issue with that.
do.
My issue was to make sure that they could no longer accuse you guys of not using the money where it was supposed to be used. They're
The
thinking
deep
we're
state.
commingled.
If
So
they do that again.
it was to
I'm gonna-
just use a lot of that, and it didn't work. So
Should help with that.
And that's my feeling, I feel like if that's our goal, that's not a goal we're ever gonna attain.
that's what I'm kind of getting at.
That's how I feel.
I don't
feel
even
like
know if this will
There's no
help.
amount of language, there's no amount of anything that's ever going to
I agree with you
make them
100%.
stop. I just don't
I agree.
believe that's possible. So I feel
If
like
this-
we
if
have
this-
to do what's smart
Is
and
this smart?
best.
Okay, forget Sheriff Lillard, forget all that stuff. Is this a good document for us as policy makers anyway, to further explain this in greater detail?
And I
Great
think
question.
that is exactly what it is.
So to me, that, if that's
Aside from
the
Gene,
goal,
yeah.
and I'm that citizen oversight that is accountable to the sheriff, that's just gonna be the Jim Anderson,
And that's language that I put in for that purpose. So I'm fine
you
with
okay
taking that.
taking that out?
Absolutely.
We think that, take that out. I just changed the context a little bit. One, because I didn't,
Now keep in mind, I'm going to get crucified for that, but I'm
Well,
fine with that.
everybody's gonna get, we're all on the chopping block.
number one, I don't think the board has the authority to mandate to the sheriff that he has a citizens committee,
Right.
which is kind of what the other resolution did. So I just kind of changed it that it's recommended that the sheriff does this.
Well, and you
And that
say
is- and
it's sole
totally on
discretion.
him.
Yeah.
And
What's your
these
thoughts?
tools for transparency and whatever have always been available to him,
Right,
had he wanted to do that.
right.
And
What
so-
do you
So
think,
see,
Julie?
putting it in, yeah, I don't know. Putting it-
It's a tough call. I mean, I agree that, like, I wouldn't enact this unless it's helpful to you guys. I understand where you're going with it, but you could already do these things even without this
And
resolution.
that's what we talked about, because I said, we really don't need
What
a
if we
resolution.
just repealed it because the resolution wasn't adhered to and it's not our fault and we can put this in later if we need to? Because I don't know.
Well, if you're gonna get crucified either way, I guess, your choice.
Well, to me, if we just repeal it because there wasn't two budgets submitted, that's not our fault. Right? And it doesn't really change anything. And then if we need to do something later, we can, but
But does this make us is this better government? Better
I
governance?
do think that having a better way for people to see it, like the concepts of this are really good because people ask for it all the time and it's really hard for the regular public to understand where's the money coming from, where's it going, the color of money, like you
Right.
said. So I think this is definitely a good practice. And I guess putting it in an actual resolution really makes it super transparent that this is what we're going to do going forward. Like we could do it anyway, but people probably
They're
wouldn't
setting a
understand it.
policy.
So,
Yeah, it's-
so I guess on the balance, probably it's a good idea. Yeah.
I think so too.
I do.
so what else you want to remove?
What do you
I'm
like?
fine with
I
it.
well, I haven't
What do you
read
think
through
of the
it.
citizen oversight? Do you
I
guys
don't
want
like
that
it.
out?
We could
or-
take out section 8.
I would take it
so.
out as a formal thing. I mean, any citizen can always come before the board and say, I've discovered this discrepancy, or I've got this question, or something. So I don't know that it needs to be a formal committee.
Well,
I'm just
also
going
subject
to be
to-
completely honest. That was Gene asked that because he wanted Jim Anderson on the board.
Right.
That's what
Well,
he
we
was
don't
trying
want
to do.
that.
So
I think, I mean,
We're sensitive to.
I'm not dinging
me,
citizen
I-
input. I'm just dinging
Yeah.
someone who's.
But he could do this anyway. He could go
I
to
was saying he
citizens
could
and say,
definitely
like,
do it.
do you, have you guys looked
What do
through
you
it? Does
think?
it look clear? Do you have
Yeah,
questions?
But it's not in writing. It's just he could do it on his own.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, part of the original, I think the original resolution calls that there is an annual public presentation
Yes,
there
of
was,
the
correct.
public safety.
Yep.
So, from a citizen I mean, it's not really an oversight committee per se, but there is a requirement that there be a public presentation of what the taxes.
Is that in this one too, or no?
That was
They all, it's just a
Part of it.
No, that's
statutorily.
That was the
original.
original ballot.
Oh,
The
the
ballot,
original
yeah.
one. Yeah, I was gonna say we do that anyway, right? So yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm
got it.
saying, like, that is part of
Yeah.
what's required
Yeah.
now, that there's a presentation of what was the tax used for.
Are you
Yeah.
guys okay with section 7, number 2? Because it makes it sound like there has been, I mean, I can read into that. What I don't want it to make it sound like is that it's not been stricken. It's never been transferred. The transfer resources out of the 30%.
Yeah, I'm just spelling it out. I spell it out for both, the same for both the 70% and the 30%.
Do you
you're
want to
saying
say
that it-
continues to be?
Continues
strictly?
Yeah,
to
maybe
be-
some continues or something. So it
Because
doesn't imply that
right.
it hasn't been.
Right.
Because someone, someone's going to look at that and go, forget it. So we can add that. Nice job on the resolution, though, Lanny. You can almost be a county commissioner.
No, thanks.
Thank you, Richard.
So section 4 and section 7 are basically the same ones, just referring to the 70% PSST fund, and one's referring to the 30%.
So what about the no less than 70% language in the original?
This actually guarantees he's getting more. Because
Does
it's a
it?
gross amount.
He gets the entire,
We kept the language in your resolution that all of the sales tax collection fees will come out of the 30%. So he's getting the full gross amount.
It grossed him up to
He's
the
getting
full
the full
70.
gross amount, so he's getting more than 70% of the net PSST.
is that right? I mean, I know
It's
isn't,
not a big a deal now since the state did away with the vendor fee.
okay,
It's somewhat immaterial, but it keeps that
clarity.
provision that was in your original email intact, which I didn't necessarily agree with at first, but it's really kind of inconsequential now because there's really not. I mean,
What if the vendor fees come back at some point?
That's right.
Will vendor
What kind
fees?
of
Take
fee?
it.
I would switch section 2 and 3. So first you have how the 70% is funded. So the 70% comes from obviously the public safety sales tax, revenue that they generate, and money that the general fund puts in. And then here's how it's expended. Because when I first started reading this about the entirety of the sheriff's operating budget comes from the 70% PSST, I was like, are you saying it's only coming from PSST? I will tell you that, I mean, this 70%
should I
PSST, I
swap
think is
those?
okay. Yeah, I would swap those two sections.
Yeah.
Make section 3, section 2,
Yeah.
section 2,
Yeah.
section 3.
Because the revenue and then the
Revenue and then
expenditures.
I do think that there's maybe a little bit of a public confusion about, we call this fund the public safety fund, and people think that means it's just PSST money, tax dollars going in there, and don't understand that these other things are. So I think this helps with that.
Should we call it something?
I sometimes wonder about that. The sheriff's operating budget, or I don't know what you would call it, sheriff's operating fund.
Right.
I don't know.
The
I've
sheriff fund
yeah,
or something.
I've wondered about that just because
Is this,
it's confusing.
and also, I want to make sure we don't put something in writing that can't be used in perpetuity.
Yeah, that's true.
So that we don't, if we get a sheriff, if someone runs against Gene and we have a reasonable sheriff that understands numbers, I want to make sure this is either evergreen or we don't do it. So when I read through this, that's how I'm looking at it, is that we make sure.
And I think that was our intent, is
Okay.
that it would
Follow.
stand the test of time, yeah.
And so this also requires that out of that budget comes his capital equipment, but not
Just equipment.
just equipment.
not-
Okay.
Not any facilities.
Well, he's
Right,
getting everything
right.
he wants, so he should be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, come on.
We tried
If he-
to
if
address
he
all
actually
the
understood it.
complaints.
That's the problem.
Huh?
If he actually understood it, is the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, section 2.4 talks about the capital improvements for the jail and how some are being budgeted in the
Okay.
CIP fund.
So that means
Right.
he's subjected to budget constraints just like anything else, and he doesn't automatically get a new emergency operating center or whatever, the EOC, right? So he's subject, so he's going to be restricted to some
It'll be
degree.
prioritized with all the other facility needs.
Maybe we should put a provision in there, any leftover money that PSST has, a percentage of it goes back to the capital improvement. I know, I'm just,
Can't leave anything out.
Yeah.
So
I think it's in good shape.
General fund that you transfer every month, will that be transferred into the sheriff's PSST, or are you gonna make it separate? It's gonna go right in with that.
Same thing, and his fund will,
Doing it the same
that'll
way we're
still
doing
be
it
Fund
now.
240, 0240, that'll be the 70% sheriff's fund.
It's R24 and you're to 0240, yeah. And you created 023 for the 30%.
Yeah,
Well, we haven't done anything yet.
I have a 23, but that doesn't matter, because
okay.
our
But
funds
did you
don't
guys
always agree with yours.
We had I was really gonna do 245, but we had a 245.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a 20,
And I don't think I have a
0230,
45 on my side. So,
That's the retirement fund.
yeah.
So there is a general fund transfer going into this fund, into his fund.
Every month.
So
Right.
that will continue. I want that. I don't
Known,
want-
yeah.
Yeah, I want that to be very
That's the
clear.
2007 base adjusted
So from,
and whatever else.
here's
I
a
guess from the standpoint of the
snapshot of
dealer,
what the
Jim
funding would look
Anderson,
like.
it doesn't create a
For the
separate
70%.
general fund for him and a separate
Thank you.
PSST fund for him.
Okay.
And just, if there's any heartburn over
So
that.
then, I mean, to me, it makes, I don't know how it could be any more clear. Here's how much the general fund is contributing to the sheriff's office. It's one number. It'll be that transfer amount. It shows up as one number in the budget. It shows up as one number in the audit. The transfer from the general fund to the 70% public safety fund. Here's how much the general fund's contributing for next year. It'll be $8.4 million, or 48% of his total budget. So the general fund is still funding his budget.
Nothing's
It's the biggest
changed.
contributor to his budget, the biggest
Right.
funding source for his
Right.
budget.
Right.
Always has been,
Mhm.
probably always will be.
Mhm.
Unless we get another 10 years of double-digit sales tax growth.
I hope so.
So,
Doesn't look good in the near term. Okay, so
What other things are?
it would be a repeal and replace. That would have to be on the November 19th meeting. So I think we should, Julie, if you could take a look at this and make
Yeah.
sure it doesn't sound weird or that it reads.
Do you want to make the couple of changes we just talked about and then email it to me?
yeah.
And I can just double check for
Can you email
anything.
to all of us, Lou, the final?
Yeah.
All
Email
of
it
us
to
get the
everybody.
final, if you change it, and I'd love to have Julie look through it and make sure we didn't
Yeah,
miss anything.
I mean, look with a critical eye. I think we should all do that and make
Yeah.
sure that we read it as intended. So that,
So switching 2 and 3, removing section 8 on the oversight committee.
Then I'll also switch sections 5 and 6,
Okay.
the same issue.
there also may be, and I'm just asking you guys, we get audited every year. Is it worth putting in a final, as per all fund accounts? We're
There's
subject.
kind of a whereas on the first page about how public safety's been separate from the general fund and always part of our
Independent audit.
independent
Okay.
audit for Colorado
Perfect.
statute.
Thank you, that's good.
Cool.
I think a repeal and replace will be a lot more palatable, and I think you might live to
Tell another
tell
day.
another day. Yeah.
To write another resolution.
So you're going to the meeting Thursday?
Yes, ma'am.
You going to carry?
Every day, everywhere.
Are you?
I'm going to be there. I just didn't know whether I would need to duck when you get attacked.
Just
I
get
would
up and tell them how much
recommend never
sales
standing
tax.
anywhere around me.
Sit down.
There's a reason I stood
I
behind
mean,
you
I
today. I figured they wouldn't shoot me if you were being right.
I know. I've been having dreams about it. So.
I don't know how many times I've stood up at the central committee meeting and said
It's out of hand.
exactly what has been done.
Yeah, it's out of hand.
Well, when you've decided what you believe, you can't get off
I know.
square one.
Might
Well,
need
you-
some help.
And I
You
think
better call Monty and tell him to throttle.
I already have.
All right.
I had a long phone conversation and went through the details about the sheriff's budget and a lot of these things with him, so he's aware.
And protect the staff. I mean, if they start haggling Lanny and Cindy, I would stand up and say, that's it.
Trust me, it's,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they do
It's
what
over the
they're
top.
instructed to do, you know.
Yeah. If you
They
want
don't
to yell
run
at
that show, I mean, they run the show, but somebody else up here runs.
elected officials are
Right.
responsible for making these decisions, so we take the heat, not
Not-
these guys.
Right.
no,
So-
agreed. There's been some things, some very nasty things said in there that I don't approve of, so just know that I won't, I can't stop them, but I absolutely will voice my opinion as well, so.
Well, and
You could
it-
become unaffiliated.
Okay, that was funny.
Just saying.
Just saying.
save yourself the trouble.
That's the hardest I've laughed in 8 months.
All right.
So the main thing I have to do is get a detail list from the sheriff and find out when money is deposited to the bank, do I put it in the sheriff's public safety sales tax or the 30% public safety sales tax?
You'll just take the distribution that you get for the month.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the other money that comes in, like
Grants.
It'll be the same for the
It'll
sheriff.
all go into the sheriff.
everything will go into the sheriff? even if
That's
it's-
related to him.
But that's separate from the public safety sales tax, it's just coded public safety from the
His
state.
grants, his weapons permits, his,
It'll be any and all revenue
GBS
that's for the
payments.
sheriff.
Okay,
all
so-
those,
So,
Basically,
so
everything
so
will
the
still
tax
continue to
wire
go to
comes
the
in
same
from the
fund.
state of Colorado.
the only
And
exception.
literally gonna
Any
take the
question,
wire
we'll
and
call
you'll
you.
do 70% of that wire and you'll put it into the sheriff's
Right.
fund.
Because sometimes we do
And you'll
get
take
money.
30% of the wire and you'll
Into the
code it
other.
into the
That'll
30%,
go
the
into
other
30%.
fund.
Thank you.
Right.
Right.
That's
So
what
that's
got-
the key thing
he
we're
only has
doing
two
is we're
other accounts. He
peeling
gets the money
off
from
that
the
30,
state.
that's in there now with him.
Understood.
So we're
And
making a
occasionally he gets some
separate
cost charges.
bucket,
For
if
the-
you will.
mental health
That's
person
gonna
that
Gotcha.
have
going
30,
to
so
the
this
center.
wire's gonna
And
come
then
in and we're gonna do it like, we're gonna point it different directions.
So just
We're
to-
gonna
I get it.
point 70% here, we're gonna point
Just to
30%
Appears to
here.
be coroner.
So his fund is solely his operations
30% will be the
100%.
DA, the coroner.
Over here is gonna be the
doesn't have any
DA,
revenues.
the coroner,
The coroner.
rural medical
the
clinics.
Justice Center.
And
Roger
the
that.
30% tax is gonna point there from the get-go when we get the wire.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Well,
So Wesco, all that stuff will still go in.
So then any revenues he generates, his, everything associated with him will also go in that fund.
JBBS.
JBBS,
All of that will.
concealed carry permits, prisoner housing,
Right.
So then it's all.
ATC.
ATC, all the things that go with the sheriff.
The airport fund for airport
And I
security.
think why we think that's better is it really
Just discharge
isolates
directly.
just his activity
We're gonna
in
move
that
that.
fund. No other activity is gonna happen in there other than what is associated with the sheriff.
Charge.
good idea.
So when we present financial data,
That's good.
that is solely sheriff's operations. No other activity will happen in there. We won't clear checks for anything else. No other activities will happen.
Just that.
Yeah, it should be crystal clear.
Good Lord.
Why are you laughing?
But we also, I know I keep kind of beating it.
No,
but,
go
like,
ahead.
Rosemary,
What
you
you saying
can,
about clearing the checks? I just caught that part while we were talking. What were you
I
talking
was
about?
just saying the 70, I'm going to call it the 70% fund, just so it's
Sheriff's, yeah, 70.
70% fund. Like, we won't clear any other checks or anything else out of that fund other than what belongs to him.
Like payroll and.
Right, right. So there won't be, yes,
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I just,
yeah.
And I
so
don't-
are you
this-
gonna stand up at the central committee meeting and explain? in
Not
your-
until after the 19th.
No. Do you not wanna tell them that repeal and replace is coming, or you wanna do
Why
an
not do it
ambush?
first and then? Why would you tell them it's coming?
Okay, well, never
It
mind.
hasn't
I'm
happened
not
yet.
saying a word until Sean says, say something.
Everything runs in a 2-week cycle. That gives them time to cool down and forget about it.
Well, they're gonna have
2
their
weeks for Jim
afterburners
Anderson
on.
to,
I mean, it would be really
Count
nice,
you.
I know it's probably not gonna happen, but, I mean, the sheriff should really be behind this. It would be really nice if he supported this on the 19th, if he got up and said,
This-
yeah, I support this
I
This new
believe he will
resolution.
because it takes the burden of having to have two separate budgets that he was not able to do. So that's kind of the way I'm going to explain it to
Do you
him.
want me to schedule a sit down with him?
I'm going to see him this week. He's really camped over Monogram Mesa. He dropped me a pin.
Oh, you
yesterday.
literally? Oh, I thought you
Literally.
were.
No, I'm going
Oh.
out there. I'm going to take this in tow and go sit out there
Oh,
under a tree and talk to him about it.
okay. Okay. Good.
Because that would, I don't know, I mean, if he would be willing to do that,
It would
that would
save,
go miles.
right.
Yeah.
And then,
I'll work on it. So send me the revisions you made before I go out there.
Yeah, I'll get that to you
If you would support that.
this
it would
afternoon
take-
unless we're.
Yeah, just make sure. I'll make sure Julie has eyes on it too. And
all of us.
What are we talking
I
about, the
know.
resolution?
I'm going to take this
I
and talk to
agree.
the sheriff about it.
Okay.
Whatever you guys are, I'll finalize that.
Okay. It
So,
shouldn't take long.
So one more sticky widget on that before we
What?
move. The staffing, the 5 FTEs.
oh,
I know this is, I'm just gonna throw this.
Go, just,
go.
I mean, I think when we were meeting with the sheriff, when we were doing the county manager meetings, you know, and he'd requested initially 10. I think we were trying to kind of,
appease him.
well, meet in the middle, compromise, find some common ground, you know, with him.
Well, because his comment, as I've said before, was I asked him, can you legitimately put that many people on the road or in the jail? No. There, by the time you recruit, hire, screen, do whatever you're going to train, there's no way he could put 10 new employees.
And he admitted that.
And he said that.
He did.
But I
So
like
the-
Cindy's idea, this review.
Audit.
Well, I mean, the sheriff has never provided any data. Crime is up, therefore I need more deputies. I mean, and every time, I mean, I know I keep referring to the blotter, and it's not 100% there, but when we do 6 livestock stops in the night, yeah, I have to question, what are we really funding here? It would be nice if we had numbers that say, you know, this is how we're calculating this. I know I'm talking about Gene, and he's not a numbers guy, but it would be nice if we had some objective comparison as to why we need it. And we suggested a consultant before, when Emily was here, and you know, no, we don't want to verify anything. And I think responsible governance is, you know, is it needed?
yeah.
I mean, or is it just Gene going, or is guys going, yeah, we're kind of overloaded here. We need, you know, you could obviously see what's happened at the event center. It's pretty obvious those guys are not getting a day off and they're working their butts off. I'm not sure what happens at the SO. Maybe you have a better picture, but it would be nice to have some objective criteria.
I'm going to speak completely open, I guess. So my heart with that when he compromised and asked for 5 FTEs, and then I look at the numbers and he had nearly $900,000 last year unspent that would have paid for 5 FTEs. I think he already has the money. He's just not using it responsibly. That's my opinion.
So that's why I was, you know, doing a lot of homework on staffing studies. And, you know, there's organizations that come in and help you figure out, they do all the analysis of our call volume, you know, they pull call data, they pull all the things.
So they go to dispatch.
Spill
They
in.
go to dispatch, they'll get call data, they'll get all the things.
They look at your
They
structure.
look at your structures.
They use GIS to see where the calls are coming. I mean, they're very intense.
And we're going to have, if we get the SO's facility on the west end to where they can use it, you're gonna have much more usable time from those deputies as well, because they won't be running to Dallas Divide or Montrose,
Right.
which is part of the reason we want to get that facility put in. So
And currently they don't have a steep call volume there, but they will in the future.
yeah, well, we
so-
do have a couple hundred people coming in for this man camp thing. But regardless of that, there was still a significant amount of money between just unspent funds, and you look at all the vehicles sitting around. That I just think he could
There's
already
waste.
hire them without asking for more money, in my opinion.
So
So
I,
it's crazy. I mean, what we would like to see, and this is just from a staff perspective, of course, it's your call, but I think it would be smarter to have something like that done and get data, get actual information that you can base a decision on.
Can we do that?
Yes.
Well,
over
we have
another
to hire
elected
someone.
official?
You
You
could,
could do the study.
We control the
You could do the
money.
He
study.
doesn't have to
We
adopt
pay for
anything,
it.
you can
any
pay
of their
for it.
findings.
I wouldn't have him pay for it, so if he's against it, I mean, the board could pay for it.
But what
and
if he
do-
doesn't let him in the door?
But we're the fiduciary.
Right.
And I think that we haven't, it is within our rights to find out, are we adequately, especially in light of what's going on at Mesa County, are we really where we are? And the truth is, we could find out that he's right,
And that's what
and
I,
then we know.
yes.
Maybe he
And
needs
it might
15.
be
We
that
don't
he
know.
Right.
needs more than 10.
Right.
I don't know. But I just think right now you don't have any information to base that on.
Do they do a fleet analysis too?
I
Like
think,
how
they
many
could do-
vehicles need leather
Yeah. They
could do
interiors
every-
and panoramic sunroofs?
Right.
yeah,
Right.
probably 0 on that, I would say. But yeah, I think you can do as much or as little on the way of organizational improvement that you would want to do. They'll do word culture stuff. They'll do all kinds of
Yeah, they'll do
services.
interviews with people. I mean, they'll really delve down into the
I mean, you
weeds.
can
Oh, sure.
really get pretty robust with it if you wanted to. I know the timing and the circumstances and the environment that I'm even suggesting that is,
Well, we could give them
Not
3
great,
deputies
but-
and say, in lieu of the other 2, we're going to do this, we're going to pay for this
So
staffing.
he wanted 2 in the jail, 3 patrol. That's the breakdown that we had agreed on. Now, you could do the whole thing on a contingency basis. We're gonna do this study,
and that's what I would maybe think the board could do, is like, we'd really like a study and
right,
then
to justify this.
justify.
So we can make it work, but carrot and stick, right?
Yeah, I mean, you guys control the purse strings. He can not want all he wants, but you would think if he was really concerned about optimally managing the sheriff's department for the citizens of Montrose County, he would want that information. And he would want to know that, either get verification that, okay, I'm doing a good job of managing this thing, or here's some areas I could improve. You'd think a normal person would want that information and that feedback,
No.
but maybe not. But it's like Dave was saying, well, what if he doesn't want it? It's like, well, you guys control the purse strings. You can say,
Well, then you don't
you're
get the
not
deputies.
getting any of these until we have that, so you can either play ball or not.
Well, I mean, as long as we're going scorched earth on everything, we might as well do that too. I mean, I honestly think that it's been this whole time it's been frustrating, because even if I've suggested there could be some management improvements, I get shut down immediately. There's nothing wrong. They've left for money. I mean, there's never any consideration that I could be doing something wrong, or I could be doing something better. I love this idea. We don't have any idea on cost, though, do we? Have they-
No, I mean, I didn't go that far.
Mhm.
I
I bet you it'd be 50 to 75.
I would say
Yeah.
50-ish, 75, yeah. I mean, typically most
It would be well
studies.
spent in my.
And some of those articles I gave you, like I said, there's tons of them, but it kind of goes into debunking that statistic he always gives you guys about
Yeah.
the
What is it?
FBI standard or
Oh, yeah.
whatever it is that he always talks
2
about.
per thousand or whatever it
There's
is.
a lot of articles out on the internet right now that's like more current about the flaws in the whole FBI standard, that whole narrative around that. That I just found very interesting, just when I was reading through this stuff. I was like, well, this is interesting.
We just don't have a sheriff that believes in organizational excellence. Go ahead.
And I could approach it from this standpoint when you talk to him. Statute says that we have to provide you a place to work and the money to run your office. We want to make sure that we're providing you the correct amount of money, and we're not shortchanging you. That might be one way to kind of approach it.
Mhm.
Better words than that, but
Well, that's what Jim Anderson's been saying all along, is that we're not giving him, the sheriff, the money that he really needs.
But that's all been based on emotion and no
Yes.
data. Right.
but if you say, you know,
Mhm.
the law says we have to give you the right amount of money to run your office. We want to make sure that we are giving you the correct amount.
Yeah, I just
That
think,
we're giving you enough, maybe not correct. We're giving you the something.
because you guys have nothing to base
You
your
know where I'm
decisions
coming
on.
from.
Nothing.
And
No, I'm telling you, it's
whether
like a
it's-
hunch.
Before he gets the 5 or after he gets the 5, and it's kept there until we get a study, whichever, I think the study would be very valuable. And
I agree.
Well worth the money.
I think it would be for sure. And I think he already had, again, I'm gonna say, I think he already had the money last year unspent to hire 5 FTEs.
Yeah, it's 900,000 in there. Maybe he would pay for his own staffing study. Did
Well,
you cover that on Monogram Mesa after the 12 pack?
I also think that as a part of that, we need to look into this silly step plan of his, because that is a freaking mess.
But it would be better for the consultant
No,
to say,
yes.
holy crap,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah,
Well,
that's not
what I
coming from
was
us.
Thinking that it was an independent voice, right, that's coming and giving you data and based on, rather than it coming from the deep state and, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm part of the deep state now, holy
Yeah,
shit.
you're part of the deep state too, see? See how that works?
They corrupted me.
They take anybody.
They-
I don't mean that way. I'm just saying, I thought we were the
Sue.
deep, I thought we were the deep state.
But that's also what I thought too, was, well, there's that independence layer. If you maybe had an outsourced study, you know, it's not just us saying that, it's
Right.
an independent, whatever, I don't know, because to your point, I think adding 5, like, we're just adding more to the problem. Like, every time he wants to add another, like, 5 FTEs, 10 FTEs, you're adding it to a very
Based
broken.
on what?
Yeah, and based on what, and it's a broken system.
Yeah, and the
Like,
whole
everything's
the
very
whole
broken.
step plan was a knee-jerk reaction to him, right? Not well
Yeah.
thought out, it doesn't work. And so I think we do need to start from square zero. It makes perfect sense.
So, do you want me to try to find somebody or let them do it? What do we want to do?
Do we have any references from anybody? I mean, is
I can do
Blog
some
ones or
more
some resources
research,
in there.
like Chad or
That's
something.
one of the 3 I read anyway.
Okay.
I can do
There's some
some work on
resources
that. I
in
just
the
didn't
back.
take it that far because I didn't know. I
I
felt like I
wonder
was
if
really.
the PD has ever done that. Blaine would be a
Well,
good.
and to be
Okay.
totally honest, Chad's the one that kind of suggested that I even look into this because I think they do it at the state patrol. So,
Well, that's good to know, though.
right, so he's
We're
like.
not
So this
asking him to do
organi-
something that's
this-
not being done someplace else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this is
Policing
very,
Institute
there's, like I
Consulting.
said, this is not this is not an off-the-wall idea. It's very common.
In organizations that want to do the
Right.
best. Yeah.
Right.
That's
So,
good.
but yeah, I can do more homework on
Okay.
actual consultants.
See if they know
and
some,
stuff.
someone who is well respected and
Well, this outfit here, how NPI can help your agency optimize police staffing.
That's the National Policing Institute.
The oldest nonpartisan, nonprofit research organization in America dedicated to enhancing policing and criminal justice. National Policing Institute brings decades of experience to help agencies and jurisdictions answer this fundamental question: do we have the right people in the right place at the right time? So,
that might be interesting.
That's what I was thinking when he read it.
Okay.
All right, that'd be awesome.
Scorched earth, guys. Good job.
all right.
This was the
Okay.
day we declared scorched earth.
Scorched earth day.
So, do we want to approach it then with the study before you get the 5? Do we budget for the 5? I mean,
Yeah, what are you guys feeling?
Again, he had the money last year. I don't know why we budget more for 5 when he had money for 5.
I
but
don't understand why we don't say, you already have enough money to fund this. We're not, I mean, our job is not to build his
I mean,
PSSD fund for,
If factually he had $900,000 unspent last year that he didn't use, they would replace at least portion of the 5 FTEs. Why would we allocate more? I'm just being
I
honest.
agree.
And I think in his proposal that he brought, I think it was planned in his proposal
To
that
not spend another 700,000 next year.
700,000 in '26.
Right.
Correct.
And
So
Heather
again, we're
even
just-
made some comments
it's
of,
insane.
well, you've got to spend it on something.
It's
Like they were
insane.
just,
Her answer was there's only so much stuff
there's
you
so
could
much,
buy.
so much stuff
Yeah.
you can buy.
You know, yeah,
Right.
it's.
So I do think we take a hard, I mean, it's scorched earth, right?
Can we put a placeholder in for the 5 FTEs pending it's on the study?
So
'Cause then it
they
becomes
are
irrelevant?
actually in the,
They're in now.
They're in the numbers now.
So,
So,
but then
I
we just
mean,
but he can't.
But we need to say-
he can't have access until this is done.
He can't hire.
Well,
I don't know if you
What?
appropriate it in his budget.
So we have to remove it.
Well, I don't know how you would,
We could always amend.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
always say we
We could
revisit
always
mid-year
Revisit. and
once we
amend
know for sure how many are needed based on the
Based
study.
on the study.
Is that what you recommend?
Oh, I don't have a recommendation.
Come on.
I mean, I think it
Don't bring
makes
me into
sense,
this
right?
mess.
Julie
Yeah.
said.
But Julie, you told us.
Well, I still think that, we should look, knowing that he has almost $1 million in his coffers, that why don't we say you have plenty to staff up until we get the study done? He's never used his own resources anyway. He always just doesn't think he has enough, and say we're gonna contract with this company to come in and do a right size evaluation on your department.
I agree.
And then let him fund 3 or whatever he can afford out of that amount of money. I mean, again, we're not in the business to just pad PSST, which is money we don't have access to.
It's all taxpayer money.
Well, it's restricted. We can't use it
Correct.
for other purposes. And now with this resolution, we can't use it for capital expenditures. So we're painting ourselves in a corner. Is my concern. That would be my thought. I mean, nobody's going to be happy. So
Yeah, but I don't feel like we're making a rash decision when, again, he had unspent funds and he's forecasting to not spend them again.
right.
I,
Well,
just,
and
I
the same
don't
thing,
feel bad about that.
In the past, the same thing would happen over the last 7 years. Is he would have FTE allocations that he never filled, and then he would come and ask him for more FTEs, but he never didn't fill the ones he had.
But he's full now, right?
He's
or pretty
full.
close to
I
it.
think he's full now.
I guess the question that I would have about that unspent, if I were him, 900,000 or whatever it is, if you've got a pot of money that you're like, I think I'm going to need to do a big software upgrade or something this year, like you would probably be reluctant to hire a new person out of that pot and then have the board say, well, we're not going to continue to fund that FTE. So I'm not sure if all those dollars are the same just from a budgeting perspective. I don't know the answer to that. I just, that would be my hesitation if you were like, well, you've got all this money. Well, but that's for that. And what if I hire somebody and then you say I can't keep them?
Did he have any huge software expenditures? Because he would know about those.
Well, I don't know what the 900,000. I'm just saying I don't know what it wasn't spent on.
So basically, he had like you remember when you did your budget, you have like your labor, but then you have your non-personnel operating, which
Yeah.
is everything
Yeah.
else. So in his budget, that piece of that, he
All
was
of those
underspent.
together
Yes.
added up to.
He's
Okay.
underspent.
Okay.
he
Because you
didn't
can only
max
go
So
out
he
the
could
credit
move
card.
it to a new
So what Sean
FTE
is
and
saying
then
is he needs to look at his operating side because he could possibly be funding his labor side.
Right.
If he understood his operating budget and was utilizing how much he's underspent on the operating side, he could maybe be funding FTEs
Right.
out of that, is what he's
And if he went ahead and did that now, let's say he said, okay, I've got this extra money. We need people now. I'm hiring this person. Then next year he would just come back to this board and say, well, I've cut my operating because I added this FTE essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'd actually understand.
I see
his
what you're
budget.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a clue about any of that. But
No, Heather's reply was honestly, it's only so much stuff you can buy.
So, which, and she's on record
They
saying
said,
that.
know.
they
Yeah.
said things without knowing they were even saying them, like in that meeting, really. Like a couple of the comments were very revealing.
No,
Telling.
this was eye-opening for me.
Very
I sat there and
eye-opening.
listened and paid attention, and I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, they didn't even realize what their request was, that was going to require a $2.5 million cut by the
No idea.
other general fund departments.
No idea.
So again, we could say you underspent last year by almost $1 million, transfer it over to your personnel costs and
Right.
and hire the whatever deputies you need. But again, we are not in the business. I mean, what again? I keep going. What are we going to buy? Helicopters? We're going to just keep amassing money in the
Yeah.
PSST that we can't touch
Yeah.
for that. And so what we do is we keep robbing the general fund to put it into his to put it toward his budget when he has plenty in his budget.
Right.
That's stupid. I mean, right? Is it? Okay, maybe not stupid, but
Yeah, well, it's just kind of emboldened him to not have to worry about his budget and not have to try to be fiscally responsible.
That's what
Because,
I think too.
you know,
But he doesn't understand it to begin with.
But I mean, he's never been in a spot since he's been sheriff.
He's a trust funder.
where he has to worry
Is he?
about affording this versus, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, as an example, we're the
Ish. Oh, I see,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
well-
he's never had to really budget per se because there's been ample funds to do whatever.
right.
I mean,
It's
sales tax
just
is
never
growing
been an
13,
issue.
No, I
15,
totally-
17% a year.
Right.
$900,000 unspent, another about $1 million in parked vehicles that are paid for, and then $700,000 forecasted and not spend. There's your
So for
Couple
example,
million
when the
bucks,
body
right?
when the
Yeah.
body cam legislation came through, right? We immediately went out and
Immediately,
immediately
500,000.
that legislation comes through, we immediately went out and bought all about body cams for everybody in one fell swoop. Write a check.
Out of general fund.
Well,
Sales
out
tax.
of the sales
Sales
tax
tax.
fund.
Oh,
Well, but it was
And
always funded by the general fund.
then the grant cycle catches up with the legislation. Well, now there's all this grant funding put out to buy body cams.
Yeah.
We couldn't get any of those resources
Really?
because we had went out the
Because-
next day and bought
Wow.
body cams
Because he
for
would
everybody.
insisted that
Because
this
he's
was-
like, we need body cams. There's new legislation. Blah 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 blah.
So
blah.
to say that he hasn't gotten
Do you
what
know
he
what I'm saying?
needs
Like-
is really a lie.
Yeah.
So
And I think the
he's-
Central Committee would really love to hear that he has $900,000 in his savings account, his piggy bank.
They
know?
Mr. Anderson knows. He came into I was avoiding him, and I was at the GOP booth at the event center, Friendship Hall,
Home show.
home show, whatever. Here he comes down the aisle, and I thought, oh, he came there just to find me. So I told him everything we're talking about. I let him out. His face went white. He's like, I'm not going to talk to Gene. I'm like, you should. It's exactly what you should do. It's factual.
Good.
So they know.
Keep chipping away at it.
But I mean, those are just, I mean, he's just never had to really be cognizant of his spending because he has been so well funded since day one. He's never had to be cognizant of that.
Right, and this is
of
how-
where it's like, well, how am I going to afford that? How am I going to pay for that? That's never been a problem. Ever.
Has he ever talked to you, Rosemary, about any of the financial side? of it?
Gene? No.
Are you surprised? So when people
I mean-
start saying that the previous board didn't put any money toward law enforcement, it's particularly thorny. Because it was like, write a check. So anyway, so that's my hard line. I'll entertain what you guys want to do, but I would say nothing until we do a staffing study. No 5 FTEs until we do that.
That's fair.
I'll agree. And I need to go buy a bulletproof vest tonight
There's just-
and a T-shirt that says Deep State.
Buy enough for all of us.
Yeah, 'cause we can always amend.
We can
can.
always add them.
Yep.
We can always add them.
And who knows, I mean, it might very well come back and say he needs 10 patrol officers.
It could, but at least then we know.
Right.
Right.
Well, we know for sure. Yeah, I think it's a good practice.
Yeah.
So you're calling them for the.
You'll find out. Do some more research on
Yeah,
that.
I'll see what I can find on just some of the top-notch agencies that are doing that type of work.
And we decide how we're paying for this.
Oh, I heard there's 900,000 in the PSST.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
No, I think-
the board
Since
could
you're
We'll
requesting-
figure it out.
I mean,
Since you're requesting it, you're gonna have to pay.
I have to pay
Yeah.
for it.
yeah.
We'll just see
Which
how much of
general fund?
It'd be
a
worth it.
priority boots on the ground are.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, how many positions would the scuba team fund?
Oh, God, don't start.
How many positions would not having a command staff driving $90,000 brand new vehicles every year?
Right.
How many FTEs would that fund?
I'm curious about his pay
You know.
structure, where he's heavy on the top end.
Oh, yeah. He's
Yeah, he's very heavy.
he's
Right.
always.
So I mean, if he wasn't so heavy on the top end, he could probably entertain and raise rates for patrol deputies coming out of the academy.
Yeah.
And you know, just,
See, you all corrupt me, just so you know.
oh, it's deep state, man. I'm telling ya.
So if boots on the ground were really our priority, you think he'd do something about it.
I agree.
What he's not
Well,
doing.
and when we were when the step plan was being proposed, we were trying to get him to do that. We were trying to get him to prioritize the deputies first. That was a whole big, for months and
Lots,
months.
yeah, and he didn't want
Of
to do it.
conversations, and if that's really where the need is, and that's where because this is when we couldn't get anyone to even apply.
Right.
Like, we're struggling, we're hemorrhaging people, we can't get applications. He was like, no, I have to take care of my commanders first.
Yeah, but
Would-
it should be the elderly people that
Right.
It's not,
People that's
well,
on
And so he's consistently, he might say one thing, but his actions say a whole other thing. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, we
he-
just pad
he
the commanders
says
is
that,
what we
but
do.
what he actually implements doesn't support that.
Right.
Yeah.
I get
So-
it. The very basics of the step plan he was begging to put in and realizing that people in the step plan are already overpaid and would take a pay cut if we implemented it. It shows that he has no idea.
Yeah.
Right.
And we told him all about that, the compression factor and how they were, it was, you know, there's no incentive for people to want to move up because.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's been hard.
Okay. So we've made,
Okay.
so we have a plan on that?
Yep. So the last thing
The
is
community partnership.
This is going to take us 9
We
hours.
didn't want to do that.
Thank you all for letting me.
Thanks, Rosemary. No, thanks for your
It was
input.
nice to see you. So if you go there
So
Thursday,
Thursday, take your flak jacket, I guess.
and a deep state T-shirt, I'll get two made.
I think you should say deeper state.
Even deeper.
Deeper than you.
Deeper than your state. So, both Commissioner Hanson and Commissioner Pond, after our last meeting with this, asked that we revisit. They kind of had a change of heart, and
right.
the original plan was kind of to give it to the towns and let the towns award, but both of you individually basically asked that we kind of rethink that idea, rethink that strategy, which is fine, totally fine. So I did plug in amounts in the request column of the ones that I have. Those being like West End Family Link. I just plugged a similar amount in for the extension stuff and the Fair Board on the West End, just as a
Placeholder, yeah.
just kept it same as last year. You did talk about Basin Clinic at 375, but basically I think you need to kind of, and I don't know where you want to start, if you just want to start, because the other problem is some of these are on Montrose side, or on this side too,
Well,
so.
I also, I do have some issues with, I don't think we've received a report on community options, Haven House, All Points. You know, used to they would come in and do a review. Now maybe they've been hiding from us. But I think going forward, if we do give them money, there needs to be an expectation that you come and say, here's what we used it for, here's how we used it.
Or why they need it when they're asking for it for the upcoming year.
Well, the question I have is, I think the towns definitely should get money because they use it to supplement their
I went
operations.
and talked to them because I didn't understand what they used it for, and
Okay.
I got
Yeah.
a very clear understanding of how much they really do need it.
Yeah,
So-
but when you have these other nonprofits come, again, my point about picking winners and losers is hard for me because Dolphin House, you could argue is a really worthy organization, but we don't give them any money. So,
And I will say, Sue, this year, I think maybe in all of our transitions and all of our shifting, I'm not sure if we would have maybe gotten more request letters, and we just,
right,
the process was maybe a little broken this year.
Yeah.
Just, I came into it very much on the tail end too, so, I mean,
just-
I'm not trying to make excuses, but this might be partly our fault. with
well,
just
Emily would have
how-
normally have sent something
That's
out.
what I
She
mean.
would
I
have
don't know
requested a
if we
report.
normally sent letters and we didn't do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I think part of maybe why we don't have more might be on us. I'm just
And Hoof and Paw is out of PSST, correct?
correct.
I actually got a letter from them today.
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
So maybe we should send them to the sheriff.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Well, I mean, it's going to be his money.
I'm
Maybe.
gonna show you that. I don't even know who the guy that called me is. It wasn't Tanya. It was somebody else. Must be on their board or whatever.
Well, I was going to say, sort of in lieu of just expediting that, we consider the ones that we did last year and keep it the same. I think that with the exception of the 375 for Basin Clinic, but I'm going to defer to you on that, Sean. But the towns need money, and the rest of them I would either just leave it the same, and because we've been in such disarray, and then maybe we have a year to think about a policy or how we want to move forward with it.
Yeah, we could just send them a letter you know.
Well, and I can definitely be more proactive with it next year. Like I have Emily's files, like I can definitely be on this a lot earlier. It was just kind of a late thing that we were
Right.
kind of getting our
And
arms
then,
around. So.
and then the other thing in our meeting with the Veterans Memorial, you know, and I think they're being sincere. You know, they feel like they've already raised their 300,000. Then the MOU with the city said they needed additional 300,000. That if we saw fit to shift some money to the Veterans Memorial to meet them halfway. And I don't think the city, considering they do maintenance in perpetuity,
Yeah.
is fair to ask them for anything more.
No.
Because that's not on us at all. Once we're done, we're done.
Well, Julie and I met with Lance Bach. Was he at the?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was at the meeting that we had in the conference room.
Yeah,
He's-
he's their kind of their
yeah.
spokes guy
Yeah,
now, their numbers
he's-
guy, I would say.
Yeah, because Les and J Bob are too emotional, so he's taken the lead. But anyway,
Yeah.
I had some suggestions on where we could direct
shift.
them to get
No.
money.
He wants to ask the county for another 100,000.
Right.
On top of the
So
three?
And then ask the city to basically waive all of their fees and permits and things like that. Because he thinks some of that 900,000 is built in reimbursing them for some of that stuff. I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, when I asked at our meeting, I said, to Jim Scheid, I'm assuming these permit fees will be taken off, and he said yes.
I think there's also what they've already paid a developer or who did they pay already? The site
design
site.
yeah,
Was
they,
it designer?
Well, they had the one in Cerise Park that they paid
Yeah.
that guy.
The veterans paid that guy, and then
Right.
when they moved to the new site,
At the
the
Botanical
city
Gardens,
paid the
the
new
city
guy to
paid
do
for
the
it.
site evaluation. And Lance seems to think the city is going to seek to get some of that money reimbursed out of that 900,000, which is why, because Stryker's at 750 and the city is doing a contingency, plus he thinks it's some of that reimbursement. So what he said was he would like everyone to take another bite of the shit sandwich. And that is what he said. I was like, that's a terrible expression.
That's
But
military.
they would ask the city to waive reimbursement of those items, which he thinks would be close to 100,000. They would ask the county to pay another 100,000, and then they would come up with whatever else was necessary, essentially. Yeah, and also try to get that number down from. Anyway, so that was his ask, and David said he'd bring it to you guys, but also David had a ton of ideas for fundraising, and
Yeah,
I do wonder if they have really considered all of those
They're-
angles, because a lot of the things
No,
that you said seemed
because-
pretty.
Yeah, it's
Straightforward.
J Bob and
Les.
Les that are thinking small and not big. So when I talked to
think you might be
Lance
right.
today, and there are, because of that helicopter and the aviation component, as an example, Rod Lewis, who has the
Hangar.
Constellation in the hangar, has a foundation. So when Lloyd was on the tour, he and I talked, and he has Rod Lewis's, she's like his assistant, that she does things like this. He said he could probably stroke a check for the whole thing and be done with it.
And
So
might need to, is what he said.
I called
After the-
Lance, and he sent over their latest, all of their schematics and stuff. So I'm sending that to Lloyd. He's going to contact this Lisa. There are opportunities. Chuck Horning's another one. You know, Sherry Reeder is Chuck, like
Yeah,
his
right
right
hand.
hand. I mean, there are opportunities. So I'm sharing that information because they need to put some effort into it to go get the big dollars and not sell a little brick for $100.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I think also like they're pretty upset about the MOU and that like they should have to come up with 300 when they've already done the helicopter and stuff. But I think it's a good opportunity for them to go to places and say, look, this is where the rubber meets the road. We can get 600,000 between the city and county, but only if we come up with this.
Right.
I mean, it's like a matching grant. You know, people, that's what incentivizes people, right? Like, okay, this is really going to happen. These agencies are behind it. So,
Well, and they
I hope
have
they
their
take
own
that
people
angle.
that are going to write checks. So that, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't. I believe what he's saying, but I don't believe it all the way because I don't think they've tried hard enough. when it comes to the big donors and grants that are probably
Yeah.
right there,
I think so, too.
So, anyway, I wouldn't mess with it. I'd just leave the 300 and call it
Well,
a
and
day.
give it another month or two, and
Yeah.
hopefully
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
get, and they'll know about that grant they're applying for. They should know
The
in
CL
December or
Warner.
January. Yeah.
Well, he told
So-
me that what the package he sent over early this afternoon is pretty much the final that they're submitting for the Werner grant. So, anyway.
So the message is we're going to stick at 300
Mm-hmm.
and see what they do.
Yep.
Because honestly, as a economic driver, I wouldn't mind putting a little bit more in if they get stuck.
Okay.
I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that, but
I can't.
I mean,
believe
when the nuclear nattering chamber is asking for 25, and I don't know what you think about that. That
I think
seems
it's ridiculous.
ridiculous to
Yeah,
me.
and I talked to Troy. We had the Merrimack meeting the other night. They're all losing their mind because they're losing the tax,
The lodging
the lodging tax over there, and they're looking at the different hits coming in. Hunters aren't coming in. Tourism is going to be gone, so they're looking at taking that hit. But I don't know how that falls on us.
Well, I also don't know how 25,000 is going to, from the chamber, what they're going to do with that. I know they have I saw the plan and the budget.
Yeah, they
and all
just
that.
advertise and try to bring people in, but I don't see.
So if we get, so let's start at the top. Do we want to give the towns the same as last year, or do you want to raise it?
How long has it been? 50 minutes.
Since it was 30 when you guys were here. When we took over, we raised it to 50.
Yeah.
And then kept it at 50 for the last 7.
How do you feel about it? I mean, I'm going to refer to you.
Well, I know they need it, but the other thing that kind of chaps me just a tad is that we gave 500 grand to each of the small towns in the ARPA money to be used for infrastructure, and I think that was very generous. We could have used it for other things, but we felt like they were crawling about I mean, they need it. There's no doubt. But I leaned to somebody. Was it Nat or Rita or something? I said, "How are you using that money?" And she's like, "Well, I'm not really sure," or something like that. And so,
What happened to it?
they were supposed to go into their water infrastructure fund and go toward
Probably
street
the new
repairs.
sidewalks and the things they've been doing. I know Natarita's using part of that for their sewer main upgrade. So but yeah, it'd be great. It'd be awesome to see what that actually went to.
And just so you know, it was very restricted ARPA money. So I wanted to send it back to the state or the feds, but Keith and Roger they're like, "Well, how do you send back money? It's almost impossible." So we gave it away.
So are you okay leaving it at 50, or what are you suggesting?
I think it depends. I guess I would be okay with a little bit of a bump, but I think it's incumbent upon keeping the Basin Clinic at 375, and then West End Family Link 40,000 seems like a lot to me too. Just off the top of my head, SNAP's going to be reinstated here shortly
What did they have?
It already has in some cases.
in some cases.
They were 25 last year, and they requested
We gave
an
them
additional.
25 last year.
Seems like a lot to me too. They just hired a new grant writer too.
So yeah,
Oh.
so we went from 15 to 25, and then the 40. I guess you're the sugar daddy. So what do you want to do with that?
On the West End Family Link? Mm-hmm. I think 40 is pretty excessive. I'd stay at 25, but
So is that
How about the
25?
San Miguel Fair Board?
2,500.
25?
Or
For which
25,000
one
for
did you
West
say?
End.
Fair Board, they're at 8,000 last year.
Yeah, and I just plugged that in. as-
Family Link, he said 25,000.
Is that the beef? Is that what we did?
No,
And we give
that's-
money to the fair board to
Yeah, you
put
just give money
operations.
to their board, yeah, for operations.
It seems like we used to give 10, but
Where's our fair? Because we give them 30.
We give them 30. And I just pulled this straight out of Emily's file.
So maybe we've just considered them separately.
Yeah.
The letter I got today was from Hoof and Paw. They requested 15 this year.
15? Okay.
I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, again, they get paid through the sheriff's office through some of the animal control activities, right?
Yes.
So this is just above that. So I guess I'm almost ready to just give everybody the last year, then just keep it the same, which would be simple.
Yeah.
So the only one, like the
Is
basic
the
clinic.
well, the basic, you said set 375 last year. Where are you at now?
I think I'm okay with that.
So if we give the town of Natarita do the 50 for each of the towns again, I kind of feel like community options. We took over their whole case management, so I'm kind of
yeah.
I don't
right?
even know what they are.
They work with disabled.
Disabled adults, like
Right.
mentally disabled
They have group
adults.
homes and things like that, and we've given them money because that's a group that it's hard for them to fundraise. And but when conflict case management came into play 2 or 3 years ago, and we basically they were doing case management and they were doing services to the client, and you could no longer do that. So we took all the case management, that's under Julie Miller now, and they took the services to the client. So that's their part of the program, and our part of the program is under the state is the case management. So that's a huge lift off of them. So
Yeah.
I almost would feel like we could just eliminate that.
And they didn't ask.
I'm
Well,
gonna follow your lead because I have no idea what they even are.
Does that seem fair? I know. I'm just looking. I want some backup here.
Well, they didn't ask.
Well, it kind of makes me wonder what
If they wanted it
what
bad enough.
services would you even be, because we have so much of it in-house now.
They go out and actually do the work with the clients. So, and we
But don't we
manage
do that
case,
too? Oh,
all the case management piece of it.
and
So,
then they do the physical.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, my granddaughter's working for them, so she
Oh,
actually
okay.
goes out and
Okay.
helps
Okay.
these
And
individuals
then
in
we
their
manage the case part of it.
Mm-hmm. but they also get reimbursement per service. Like, this Joshua Bauer that
I was
keeps
just gonna
haranguing
say.
me on Facebook. At one point, he was getting like, what did I tell you, 12 or 14,000 a month to
yeah.
take care of his sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they actually have that program.
lot of
Well,
money.
it's a federal, you
12
can,
or 14?
instead of having her in a nursing home, so he's her care.
100?
1,000.
That's what I
1,000.
thought you said.
12 to
12
14.
to 14,000.
A month.
Money, holy crap!
I didn't even think nursing homes cost that much.
And then Jen
wouldn't
Sherwood said,
believe.
How much nursing homes cost?
she said that might be lower now, but a couple of years ago, that's what he said.
Wow.
Assisted living, if you put your parents,
Yeah, yeah,
that's easily $5 to $6 grand.
yeah.
And with their full faculties.
Oh, right,
and-
And they're doing their
But
own
if they have
dressing
any
and
special
okay,
care.
I guess
Oh
I
my
see what
God,
you're saying.
yeah.
Bathing,
Yeah.
Oh,
name
yeah.
it.
It's just.
Wow.
So do you want to zero that then, Sue? You feel?
I don't know because I don't.
Why haven't they reached out at all and asked for it?
None
I
of
mean, I
these
think you could say
groups
that-
have.
No.
Well,
Really the West End does the best job of,
Yeah, they do.
sending their letter and doing the things.
maybe it's not a priority then. Maybe they don't need the funding that bad. If they're like,
Yeah, they're just taking it for granted.
I don't.
Well, we do have a kind of a pot of money. If you didn't want to say yes, probably they're going to come back to you.
That's what I think.
You know what I mean? They're going to be at a work session saying,
Wait,
How
where's
come
our
you didn't
check?
fund
Yeah.
us?
you didn't give us our check.
That's why I
and
say
then
it-
you could be like, well, you didn't,
Yeah.
please
We didn't
tell
hear
us.
from
What do you need?
And what do you need it for? And
Yeah.
what's it going to pay for? And
Well, I know
et cetera, et
Haven
cetera.
House, they've always come to.
Yeah, that's true.
They
They
come
come.
and they say,
Yeah.
here's what we're using it for, and they do need it.
Yeah, they do.
So I guess I would be fine leaving it the same and then reviewing for next year. Just 10 for community
just
Haven
keep
House.
it at 10. Okay.
Yeah, I like your idea of just holding with 25 outside of the veterans, which wasn't, we had 100. Right, we had 100 in the budget for this year.
Yes, we did.
So we just rolled that into 26 and be done with it. And if they need more, I guess, if there's anything left in the pot,
Well, and I think
but I want to,
mid-year
Push them.
we send a letter out to all of these and say, we missed a year, but we need to know what you're using the funds for. We want updates.
right.
It's not a huge amount of money, but at least.
Well, they used to
give us that. And there was a 3-ring binder with each one of them with profit and loss
Basically, if you
statements.
didn't
And,
get a letter, then they weren't considered.
right,
That's how you guys use
Yeah,
it.
it was brutal then.
it was.
I think I tried to get some and you said no.
Yeah, there wasn't
I
a
don't know what
request.
Crime Stoppers does anymore. Are they still around? And
Yeah, they're still
They
around,
do
but that
the,
that was John Nelson's
it's a
deal.
The bark
pot of
one.
money essentially, right? Where you, is it that one? Where
Yeah.
you
yeah, where they give.
call in
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you get a
Right.
reward essentially from
Right.
Crime Stoppers, yeah.
Yeah, Judge Nelson, he was a retired Maricopa County judge. He was Crime Stoppers. Neighborhood Watch is Rex Swanson.
Oh, right, right.
So,
So what,
Two
you guys
different
for sure did
organizations.
25 on family law sorry. Right?
25.
And then 1,000 on Crime Stoppers?
Yeah, I was going to do the same as last year if
Okay.
Sean's okay with that.
Okay. What about all points?
Well, transportation's key around here.
they're going to be building that new terminal
Right.
right
I
down
think we
there.
need to give them that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost their grant too, didn't they, or something?
I would. I don't know.
I think I heard that
There was,
they had one that they were promised, and then that person like retired, and it fell through the cracks somehow or something. Yeah, it was a pretty big one too.
You
I
want
think-
12 on Hoof and Paw?
That's
Or
a
Sean.
Sean decision.
Yeah.
Rim Rocker?
Same,
Same.
I think.
Okay.
What
I just
do you
don't know.
think?
I don't know what they do, but yeah, that's fine.
Well, no. What do you think?
Well, I just, for me, all of these things provide a service to the community, and I don't think they provide a service to the community, but I just don't know. It just funds their museum. I don't know if it brings anybody in or not. When it was in Natarita, maybe so, but now it's in Nucla. I just don't know how much, like, tourist traffic.
did they
get,
move
but-
them? They're still down there.
Oh, they
Nucla.
closed it.
They
moved
packed everything up?
Moved it up to Nucla.
Oh. What, at the Vestal House?
Amy's place there used to be the Tabawashee Trading Center. It's now
Oh.
the Rim Rocker Historical Study. So I think Jane leases it from Amy.
Oh.
Well, what if we gave them the same and then had a real concerted effort to say, we give you 5,000. How do you use it? What is? Again, thinking
Yeah,
about next year.
That's fine. I know
Yeah.
they used part of that for that plaque we dedicated to them,
Mm.
kind of thing. They used part of that for that. So
What'd you decide on Nuclear Natarita Chamber?
Yeah, Sean, what did you decide on that?
what did they have last year?
2,500?
He had asked for 25,000.
Yeah. Woo. No.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that. I don't think that's a lot.
Well, they always used to make the pitch that they're the gateway into Montrose County. So therefore, they were, the services that they provide, namely the restrooms, warrant a large number.
I, from what I gathered talking to those folks too, I mean they've got businesses that are shutting down. The motel got sold, those kind of
Yeah.
things. So I think they're looking to make up lost revenue, but
Well, I
I
mean,
don't know how they're going to use that to create new business opportunities, right? They're just going to advertise what's there. So to me, there needs to be some entrepreneurial spirits that opens businesses, and that's going to contribute to the chamber's growth. But that's just my opinion.
well, we don't give any of the other chambers money, do we?
So if we're going to go with leave them
think-
the same, I just leave them the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Troy's got your number, right?
I was just saying.
Well, that was
No,
kind of,
that's not a little ask to go from 2,500 to 25 grand. That's wow.
And I thought.
What about the fire protection district? What exactly do they just like? They're a volunteer fire department, right?
Yeah, probably just operations is my guess. I don't know. I don't honestly know.
yeah.
Well, I think part of that came from, we used to give money out to Paradox.
Now they combined.
Right. So that could be a holdover. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah, I know he comes and talks about how they don't have enough EMS, and he's been here before.
Yeah.
What's his name? Jeff.
It's Jeff Stevens.
Jeff
Yeah.
Stevens, yeah.
Yeah.
And Tanya.
I do have a paper on the chamber that he kind of outlines what they want to use the money for. If you guys.
Is there anything on there that looks critical to you?
Operations, increased staffing during shoulder season to serve as a year-round hub for tourism, local engagement, includes increasing staffing hours, operational support for utilities, supplies, and maintenance, and then it has targeted marketing, Rimrocker, Western Colorado campaign, integrated promotion, And then it has business education. They want to do workshops, leveraging new technologies. Anyway, just,
So is it personnel? Is there,
I think probably the most
Additional
of it's
personnel?
like operations, yeah.
Well, they do rely on a lot of volunteers.
So
they're not always open because of that. If somebody calls off, if you go in there, it's,
I remember Jack Lee's sister's name, Peggy.
oh yeah,
She ran
Peggy.
that. She got really sick and retired. So
Yeah.
hey,
Well, hello.
It's just so sorry I did not get your email till this morning late. Yeah,
like, who's he looking at?
I
about
was like-
the West End. So Jennifer did email those over. I should have got them like maybe 10 minutes ago, which is like 5 minutes too late, right?
Right.
So, but I memorized them, and then you guys can look at them, and then if you had any questions. So it was like right around wants versus needs. So
Yeah, he went over it.
Yeah, I told them $1.5 million up to 3.
3 point. It was 3,323,000.
Oh, okay.
But in that wants, there's a lot of stuff that we could sit there and go through. On the needs, it literally broke it down, and I got emails to back up because I talked to both Tressa and I talked to the sheriff's department and got it in an email, and I literally went after value engineering to get us the most reasonable price that we could get them in. So it doesn't have any bells and whistles. It's got no carpet. It's got like just basically cut plain and Jane. Just
Well,
to
they
get
don't
in there.
need carpet. I mean,
Well, the carpet that you have that Tressa has, it's old.
oh well, yeah.
So it's
Well, that's true. She does. Yeah.
so some of that stuff you might want to add back in, and at that $1.5 million gives you a little bit of wiggle room.
Okay.
The real number was actually 1,990,000 with no contingency or nothing. That was just the bare minimum, no extras, not any of us given our normal like we give.
Well, I
like a
think we said
percentage.
2 million is what we decided on.
Yeah, so that gives you some wiggle room to get some
1.5.
other stuff in there.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
1.5.
1.5.
But anyway, sorry, I was like
No, you're
between last
good.
week. I didn't get your email.
No, it's
I
okay.
was stuck.
I was just kind of lobbing that out there anyway. I didn't know.
Okay, but when
That's
he
fine.
told me you guys were having a meeting, I didn't want to miss the chance to at least discuss it if you guys had any questions. But I literally went from wants to putting in fire alarm system, which you have that ticket item was a big ticket item. So if you went to that 2 million, you probably could forego that. And the reason why I would think you'd want to do it is if you knew that you were going to be there longer than 5 to 10, and it might be required for the courts. When we put the courts, they might want that, because that covers your investment. And then, the nearest fire department's volunteer. So,
That's right down the street.
well, if they're hunting or whatever and they don't have enough staff, it's volunteer.
Then it's up the hill.
Yeah.
They're hunting too.
And so,
Oh, they're all hunting.
nothing against it, but
Yeah.
otherwise, if it's actually there, it's immediate. Like you have a fire, it's putting it out.
Right, right.
The nearest hose bib is like 300 feet.
Right.
It is out front of the building, but you got to figure out front of the building still a long distance to walk. So.
Well, fortunately, that's a.
And you could do that in phases. You don't have to take the whole kit and caboodle. I put it under, if you look under the wants Excel spreadsheet, it breaks it down to where like we could do just infrastructure, getting it to the building or in the building, and then if you wanted to get booking done and then take the first hit and then come back and do some more a little later. It gets a little bit more expensive. It's cheaper to do the whole thing up all turnkey, but you could chunk it up, and I put it up into their like infrastructure outside to get it to the building, then to get it in the building, and then to pretty much sprinkle the whole thing. So, and with everything, I also have the supporting information with all the quotes that I got from everybody. So I just didn't throw a wag that I wanted. I actually got quotes from Dynamic Fire, and the fire suppression system gets a little weird out there because you don't have a fire department. Montrose County, or City of Montrose doesn't back them up as a fire department. You go to the state, so you have to do a third-party vendor. That's how in-depth I got into it. And then the third-party vendor is an engineer, and they have their own, they're acting on the state's behalf and doing the inspections. So I have all that factored in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, we appreciate that, Jesse.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of work. Thank you.
Anything else I can help? I'd like to sit down with you when we're really, really close and then kind of make it, beautify it, because when I send it to Jennifer, she's like, I'm going to send it over there because it kind of makes sense to me, doesn't, but I literally did a want item column all the way down, and then a need item. So, but all the supporting comes across, and it's done by book. It's done by the Sheriff's Administration Office, and then it's done by motor vehicles and elections all as one. And then I also had, because of if we got into the fire and some of these other ones, you had to redo some of the hallway ceiling to drop it down and be able to run all the conduit and the electrical to be able to get it in there, so it makes things a little smoother and accessible for everybody.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
All right.
All
Can
right.
you send that to us too? I don't think I've seen
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I'd just like to take a look
Yeah,
at
I
that.
think
She just sent it over.
Yeah.
so. You guys could have it.
We'll get-
if you need to have another sit down, but
Yeah.
I know you guys needed it for budgetary purposes
Yeah.
moving forward for your final phase. And if it's like, hey, I got lots more questions, this brings up red flags, just let me know. Obviously, you'll know where I'll be the rest of the week, except for Friday. I'll be in Denver.
Well, you're not going to be here tomorrow, are you?
I could.
It's a holiday.
Doesn't matter. I'm salary.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
There
Us
you
too.
That's a terrible
So, I mean, if you
attitude.
really-
Don't call me Jesse. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, I'll be here all next week. But I'll be
Okay.
here Friday. So if you guys
Yeah, because they're going for the court grant.
Oh, going to Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean,
You're going to get all prettied up for it? You're going to wear a suit?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't
take
know
a
about the
picture.
suit.
Well, don't wear a hat.
No, I won't wear a hat.
Okay.
I'm kind of like nervous about my bald, and I did shave my head and shave my face a little bit.
No, you'll look like a whole different
I do
person.
got some slacks and a nice shirt.
Good. We'll take some photos. Be sure to. Cool.
Alrighty.
Anyway.
Good luck with
Thank you,
that.
Jesse.
All right. Have a
All
good
right.
day.
You
Yep.
too. Thank you.
So let me just review this. So I guess I want to ask Sean how you think the West End, since you have a little bit of familiarity, how are they utilizing the money? Do you think they're doing a good job? Does everybody in town get fed? What's the
With which
West End Family Link?
Oh, yeah. It's as busy as you can imagine. I've been there and volunteered to unload trucks, and literally semi-loads of food come off and they're gone like within the day. That comes and goes, and
But then what do they do with the 25,000? Are they just
probably
supplementing
probably
salary?
staff and trying to keep it open and utilities, things like that. I'm assuming. So they've completely everybody quit over there. I don't know if you've heard that. So
No, I didn't hear that.
everybody quit. Like they hired a brand new all their everybody.
Why'd they quit?
Entire staff. I don't know. The entire staff quit. So they hired a brand new executive director. They hired a new grant writer.
Jeepers.
Remember the little old lady's name that delivers the senior meals? She's the only one that stayed.
Oh, wow.
Everybody else left. The entire staff rolled over. So they're starting over brand new now. Doris, she sold her house, so she's moving to Oklahoma. So she's
That is
out.
some of the best news I've heard.
You talk about me.
I know, I'm sorry. Got a little,
So yeah, they're starting all over. I mean, they're
is
new.
Jim still the chair?
Yeah, he's the president of the board, and their new executive director is trying to start all over, and they missed grants, and they're kind of a mess. So.
Jeez.
All right, well, they probably need it. Well, I'm for the senior meals, Region 10. They do a big service.
Oh yeah.
They
in
do.
that
They feed a lot of people.
They
up
do,
There.
and
Yeah, I've
I-
been up there.
Yeah. If we were going to take any off of the family link, I'd put it on to senior meals because those are the people that are homebound and can't get out,
Yeah.
can't pick up
Shut-ins.
food.
Yeah, I try to go up there on Fridays and Thursdays and meet some of those folks. So they like to talk.
They do, yeah. So we could give Family Link 20 and then give the other 5 to Region 10, although I'm totally agnostic about that. Did we decide on Hoof and Paw?
Yes.
What did we
I
say?
just did 12, but if
He
you
had,
guys-
Sean said 12. so-
They asked for 15,
yes.
Okay.
and mainly because they really are. I mean, they run a lot over there. They're the animal control for the West End. Everything. The West End's a big area.
Okay. So we're done, right?
Yep.
So what'd you decide on Region 10?
Well, my proposal was to drop Family Link to 20, but let's just leave it as it is.
Yeah, I think for now, just
What about the Nuclear Natarita fire? We're leaving that one in?
5?
Oh, Sean.
That's one I've always got a question on because, again, if you look at who does things, I mean, these guys save lives and put out fires, right? They seem like they're on the low end of things.
I kind of feel that way too.
Yeah, I feel like we're giving some of these people, 20, 25 grand, and we got the fire department, we're giving
Why don't you
5. It's
give
like,
West End Family Link 20, which should be still a good donation, and give 10 to Nuclear and Arena Fire?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I feel good with that.
Yeah, they do have a mill levy, I know.
Yeah.
It's probably a small mill levy.
I'm sure it is.
Super
I can't
small,
remember.
Did we have a letter from West End Rec? Why did I add that on
They,
there?
I don't know.
the only thing we have is that lease on the gym that
For $1
Julie
a
and I
year.
are-
Or
I
whatever.
thought they sent us a
Yeah.
letter
They did too,
that
For
said
some reason.
any amount will do,
Oh,
Oh,
which
They
is kind
added
of a
it.
nice thing. Okay, well, how about $100? We'll let you.
yeah.
but
They added it for some reason.
Yeah,
Free
I think I
Ricks
sent
and
you an
free gym.
email.
You sent it to me?
Mm-hmm. Let me see. I'm so glad this is almost over.
Honestly, I dreaded this,
But it wasn't so bad, was
No, it was really helped me see a lot of what happened. So and the way you guys put it on, everybody coming in, I appreciate it a lot.
Oh, I thought you liked it.
No, it's
I
really-
actually think that any new commissioner that comes on should go through this process first, the
I
first
know.
week.
It
Right.
really is
Not
too
at the-
bad.
not
that
at the end?
Yeah, yeah. You do learn a lot.
A lot. Well, you see how things work and how
Yeah, and who's
who, and
yeah,
how,
And what their
valuable
plans are
and
for
yeah.
their departments.
it was really helpful. So.
I'm glad you
So-
did write it.
A little bit of a housekeeping with regard to the
Mine is
resolution. In the 30% PSST fund, we're gonna move the DA and the coroner. And the Justice Center and Justice Center Annex maintenance of facilities is currently in the general fund. I'm proposing moving that into the 30% because it's got people and kind of ongoing stuff, and moving the rural medical clinic out of the PSST and putting that in the general fund. It's almost just a swap from what we're moving out of the general fund to put the rural medical clinic in. But since it's kind of more of an agency type funding, like
The rest of these.
all these other things we're going through, kind of made more sense to me to have that in the general fund with the other agency funding and have the ongoing operating maintenance costs for the Justice Center in the 30%.
Well, that makes
They're all
sense, too.
allowed by the ballot language. They're all examples that we can use the 30%
Right.
for.
Is that just easier tracking for you? Is that what you're?
Not necessarily easier tracking for us, it just, who knows what the rural medical
Like
clinic
family
I saw
might
Wow,
be
we
eventually.
paid the courthouse.
That contribution may just go away. We don't
Gotcha.
know.
That makes sense.
But the operating and maintenance of the Justice Center will always be there, just like the 30%
I think it's so old.
Yeah,
but-
makes sense.
tax.
Well, I think the West End Rec they have a mill levy too, right?
Okay, so, all right, we'll just leave it.
And there was another question. God dang it. Okay, so are we less than 725? Is anybody keeping running count there?
No, it'll be more, because that's the two primary more,
It's not much less, right?
yeah, it's the clinic and the veterans.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, you guys? This is our last hoorah before we basically adopt.
I like the hurrah.
You like it?
Hurrah.
Hurrah.
Scorched earth.
I
Or
still
dirt,
think, I still
yeah.
think a resolution that we should consider about the West End is that we've declared the West End
Right.
formally economically
Disadvantage.
disadvantaged. And because if somebody comes to us and says, you give a disproportionate amount to the West End, how about us?
Great idea.
I just think if we declared that, it doesn't really do anything except say, it gives us a good reason to say, well, we've identified the West End as it being in a more need than the East
Yes.
End.
That's a great idea.
So maybe we could do that next year
Yep.
when we have nothing
Yeah,
to do.
whip one up.
Whip one
That'd be
up.
easy.
Want me to whip up another resolution?
I don't know. You're
good
doing
I
that.
know.
resolution
You better.
writer.
That has been so much anxiety. Like,
I think you
oh
did a
my
great job,
gosh.
Lenny. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I think the sheriff should be honored that you listened to him and are trying to figure a way that we can de-layered. I was going to say like
De-layered.
DD and Jim Anderson from the process here.
I can promise you, as soon as Jim Anderson heard that Lanny wrote it, it's gonna be,
I know.
Oh, those deep
Well,
staters
tell
are
him
at
it's
it
a
again.
consultant we brought in from,
so maybe we don't say Lanny wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be nice.
No, we're aware. That's why I was like, anything, our fingerprints on anything, and
That's
it's
true.
immediately.
I hear it every time. They've been
Yeah.
doing this for 30 years, and they corrupt you new commissioners, they're the deep state. And,
yeah, we are we
We
done?
actually wanted to
think
try
we are
to
done.